All right, welcome to this explainer. Look, if you're stepping into the world of product reliability engineering and you really want to know how to make products that actually survive in the real world, you are in the exact right place. We're treating this as a practical masterclass today. We're going to take all that theoretical engineering knowledge you've got and forge it into a solid, real-world toolkit.
So here's our roadmap for today. First, we're demystifying MTBF and reliability. Then, modeling reliability with Python, moving on to system reliability block models, and wrapping up with debugging common data errors. Let's get right to it.
Section 1. Demystifying MTBF and reliability.
Okay, so the very first tool in your kit is knowing the exact difference between MTBF and MTTF. It's absolutely crucial. You use MTBF, mean time between failures, for systems that can actually be fixed. Think along the lines of industrial motor controllers or network routers. Basically, if it breaks, you fix it and it goes back to work. That's MTBF. On the flip side, MTTF, or mean time to failure, is strictly for items you can't repair. Fuses, LEDs, things like that. Now, the math for constant failure rates might look exactly the same on paper, but trust me, the real-world engineering meaning is vastly different. And that brings us to the biggest myth we've got to bust today. Listen to this. MTBF is a statistical average for a population. It is absolutely not a direct guarantee that one single unit will last that long. I see so many junior engineers make this mistake. They assume a 10,000-hour MTBF means their one specific gadget is going to live for exactly 10,000 hours. No way. It doesn't work like that. It's just a statistical average for a whole bunch of units running under very specific assumptions.
Now, prepare for a massive light bulb moment. Under a standard exponential reliability model, when you hit the exact time equal to your MTBF, your system's reliability is actually only about 36.8%, not 50%. Crazy, right? So if your MTBF is 10,000 hours and you run a unit for 10,000 hours, there is actually less than a 37% chance it has survived without a failure.
All right, Section 2, Modeling Reliability with Python.
So, you're writing a Python MTBF calculator for repairable systems. Here is the super simple three-step logic you need to compute your observed MTBF point estimate. Step 1. Verify your total operating hours are a positive number. Step 2. Verify your failure count is positive. And Step 3. Just return those total operating hours divided by the failure count. Honestly, building these really basic validations into your code right from the start is going to save you from so many mathematical headaches later on.
Let's plug some real numbers into this. Say you deploy 200 units, and each one runs for 1,000 hours. Over that time, you observe 8 failures. The math is straightforward. Your code takes those 200,000 total operating hours, divides them by the 8 failures, and boom, it outputs a 25,000-hour MTBF point estimate. This right here, this is the bedrock calculation that's going to drive all your reliability growth tracking.
But wait, what if you run this massive, incredible test campaign and you observe exactly 0 failures? This is a classic trap for junior engineers. What do you do when your code has literally no failures to divide by? Because, if you try to divide by 0 in that Python script, it's going to completely crash.
Well, you definitely don't claim infinite MTBF. That is just mathematically false. Instead, you have to calculate a lower confidence bound. You literally cannot claim a point MTBF when you have 0 failures. But here's what you can do. Use a statistical bound. So, assuming an exponential model, if you have 10,000 test hours and 0 failures, and you want a 90% confidence level, your Python code should give you a lower bound of roughly 4,343 hours. Basically, you're mathematically proving the reliability is at least that good, instead of pretending the thing is invincible.
Moving on to Section 3, System Reliability Block Models.
When we zoom out to the system level, we use block diagrams. This is where you have to define the architecture. Are your components in a single chain of success, or do they have backup paths? In series systems, it's a chain. If even one single block fails, the entire system is dead. But with parallel systems, which is how we model redundancy, as long as at least one branch survives, the whole system stays up and running.
Check out what happens to the math in a series system. Let's say you've got power at 0.99, a controller at 0.995, a sensor at 0.98, and an actuator at 0.97. Even with those highly reliable individual parts, when you multiply them all together in series, your overall system reliability drops down to 0.936. So the big takeaway here, every single component you add to a series chain is automatically degrading your total system reliability.
Now look at the flip side. If you use a parallel redundancy formula, you can take two power supplies that only have a 0.98 reliability and push the total system reliability up to a massive 0.9996. Why? Because the system only goes down if both of those branches fail at the exact same time. The reliability literally skyrockets. And guys, this is why understanding these block models is an absolute game changer. Sometimes the secret to hitting your target isn't buying some super expensive, perfect part. It's just designing a smart parallel architecture.
Okay, Section 4. Debugging common data errors.
So, what happens when textbook math meets messy real-world data? I always recommend using this rapid-fire checklist from Fracas. That's the Failure Reporting, Analysis, and Corrective Action System. Use it to interrogate your data before you ever try to model it. If your MTBF numbers are looking a little crazy, ask yourself, are the operating hours actually accurate? Wait, are we accidentally counting simple firmware resets as hard hardware failures? Are we mixing up data from totally different environmental conditions? Honestly, the quality of your data will make or break your reliability engineering.
To wrap things up, consider this your ultimate cheat sheet for the most common analytical mistakes we've tackled today. First, if you catch yourself treating MTBF like a guaranteed lifespan, stop. Remember, use the reliability probability formula for your specific mission time. Second, if you have units out there running that just haven't failed yet, we call those censored units. Do not ignore them. You have to include their exposure time in your math. And finally, remember our golden rule on zero failures. No infinite MTBFs. Always use a lower confidence bound.
I'm going to leave you with this thought to chew on. When you sit down at your desk, are you just calculating a number to put on a spreadsheet, or are you actually improving product performance for real customers out in the wild? Python code, block diagrams, MTBF math, they're all super powerful tools. But the true mark of a great reliability engineer is using those tools to build genuinely better, safer products. Every single line of code, every Fracas report you pull, it should all be driving tangible design improvements. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer. I really hope this toolkit serves you well out there.